everybody, welcome to Michu Makes. It is Vlogmas Day, December the 7th, and it's what is it today? Wednesday. Flipping cold. It's 4 degrees. We've gone down to 4 degrees. Apparently there is a planned freeze, not a plan, but they reckon there's going to be a bit of a freeze over the weekend and that temperatures might drop to -10, which is quite a lot for the UK. Somebody actually mentioned that you have short dark days. Yes, we do, and it makes you quite miserable. Makes you more miserable. I've already mentioned this, I'm repeating myself. Makes you a bit more miserable when you've got dark days. Anyway, I'm feeling so much better. I've still got a cough, but I'm feeling a lot better. And I was chatting to my daughter. I'll take this off now. We've just been out to the post office. We went out to the post office and we're going to go for a coffee, and then I said, oh, I can't be bothered to go for a coffee, so instead I made some tea, and he's in there with his cup of tea. He's on the mend. He's says he's still not 100%. Well, I'm not 100% either, but he says that he feels he's getting better. But that recommendation that Renee told us, I know we didn't have the same stuff, but by golly, that did not make a difference. The Beechams that I mentioned in yesterday's Christmas, in yesterday's Vlogmas, we both took them. We both took some before we went to bed. It's a little cup you have to drink. We took some before we went to bed, and we both slept well. I slept through till 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I woke up, my nose was really blocked, which was an indication that everything's coming out, everything's going to come out, and I felt I'd had a good night's sleep, so that was good. Anyway, too much information, isn't it? So it's Wednesday. I have been working in here doing my orders, I do eBay orders, as you know, and as fast as I get something done and get it out, then another one comes in. This is one that I'm busy doing now. It's a man who wants to put he wants to put this plate on his cricket bat. India and Mumbai Indians, DLF IPL T20, whatever that means, I have no idea, but a cricketer would know. So I've got to punch some holes in there, send some pins and pack it off. But I had a lot more. We've just been up to post half of them. Anyway, what do I want to tell you? Well, nothing much has happened since yesterday, because I still haven't looked for it, but I haven't found my leather. I haven't looked for it, but I will do. I'll have to look for it in a minute, because I want to get going on those gloves. Somebody, I think it was Renee, was saying that she didn't know. She was interested to see what I did for the gloves. I've made gloves before. I think I mentioned in one of my vlogs. I've made gloves before. I made leather ones, dark grey gloves, and they had a butterfly. I had dark grey with brown leather inset of a butterfly, and I matched that onto a dress and onto a bag. I made a bag as well. Yes, I have made leather gloves before. I enjoyed making them, and I promised myself I'd make another pair. I think I did, actually. I think I made a pair for my mother as a Christmas present, but I'm talking about, well, I was 30 at the time and I'm 70 now, so it was 40 years ago. And so I'm quite looking forward to sewing this and putting it together. So you just have to watch this space, and hopefully I will get this sorted. I keep telling you all these things I want to do, or that I'm hoping to do, and sometimes they will get done, but it's a case of time. It's always time. The one thing I find about being old is things take a lot longer to do. Once upon a time I could have turned out loads of things in a day, but now I have probably 1 or 2 things. I want to get my gloves started, and so I need to find this leather, and I shall get going on it. I've waffled on an awful lot, and I will cut that out. So let's start with Sherlock. Wasn't overly impressed by yesterday's Sherlock the Magic Imp. Let's see what this one is. This one is the Christmas Thief. It's starting to get dark, although the sun is shining onto the tree out there, so I might have to stop and put the light. Oops, hang on, busy doing a plate, hang on. This is a top that I bought a few years back. I really like it, and I found I was tidying out my cupboards, my wardrobe, and I actually came across it in the back, so I thought, oh, get it out and wear it, get a day's wear out of it. This is called The Christmas Thief. How charming to see you again, dear Mr. Holmes, said Lady... Oh, it's a lady, so I better talk posh. How charming to see you again, dear Mr. Holmes, said Lady Dupont, as she sipped her tea. We were sitting in her suite at the Savoy, enjoying the view across the Thames. Lady Dupont, who lived in Brighton, was visiting London and had invited us to join her for a cream tea with homemade scones, clotted cream and jam. Years ago, Holmes had solved a mystery of her murdered butler. The pleasure's all mine, he smiled. With you two here, I feel so much safer. There's a thief lurking within these exclusive walls. Would you believe it? A Christmas thief, I suppose. No one knows how he does it, but he's been breaking into one hotel room after the other. No one's even seen him yet. A phantom who strikes when least expected. As usual, Holmes's interest was aroused as the topic involved criminology. Fascinating, he said. A real phantomas, by all accounts. As Mr. Brecht would say, what's the burglary of a bank compared to the founding of a bank, I said. Lady Dupont frowned. It pains wealthy people like me to be robbed too, you know. Of course, I raised my hands to placate her. Just a quote from the world of theatre. There was a knock at the door. Before Lady Dupont could answer, a man walked into the room. He was about 30 years old, with pleasant features and a well-groomed appearance. When he saw us, he stopped and said, "Forgive me, madam, I must have opened the wrong door. My room is next door to yours. I'm awfully sorry." Then he retreated, closing the door behind him. "What a charming young man," said Lady Dupont. "Oh, if I were only a few years younger." Holmes asked, "Do you mind if I use your telephone?" He went over and dialed reception. "You'll find the thief on the 4th floor, young, slender, with brown hair, and he's wearing a red handkerchief in his breast pocket. Arrest him immediately and call the yard." So Holmes knows who it is, and we're going to find out how he's deduced it. We shall find out later. So, the next thing is the Christmas calendar up there, the musical one. So let's get that out. So we are looking for number 7, the 7th. 22, 8, 23, 17, 24. Where's number? Oh, it's right up at the top. Number 7 is right up at the top there, with a little girl, and she's looking out the window, and there's a cat on the roof with a hat on. A cat in a hat. So let's open that up, see if I can do it in situ there. And it's a little boy and a little girl. What's he doing? He's got a stick in his hand, and has he got a stick in his hand? Let's have a look. A little boy with a kind of a stick in his hand, and she is reading something. So this is number 7 up here. And the little boy with a stick in it. What kind of stick is it? Do you know? I don't know what it is. Let's have a look. I'll have to get the big magnifying glass out and see if I can see. Oh, he's playing a violin. It's not easy to see, but he's playing a violin. He has a violin in his hand, and that's his bow, and she has some music, so she might be singing. Right, let's press that one, number 7, and see if I can do it this way, and you'll recognise this song. You might recognise this song if I can get it go. God rest you, merry gentlemen. There you go. God rest ye, merry gentlemen. I am not a churchgoer. In fact, there's not many people in the UK that are churchgoers, percentage-wise. How many people? Let me find out how many people are churchgoers. How many people percentage are... Oh, I have to use this keyboard because that one doesn't work. Hang on a second. I know it'd be quick if I do it this way. What percentage of the population of UK are churchgoers? Right, well, the UK has declined from 10.6 million in 1930 to 5.5 million in 2010, and probably quite a lot less now. We are a population of 70 million, I think, now, and there's not many that go to church. But the one thing that, and I used to be a churchgoer, but we don't go to church. We tend not to do it these days. But I do like to sing, and I love to sing a choral. I love to sing a choir. You know, it's like a carol or two. But it's a long time since I've been to church, and I think I'd be a bit of a hypocrite if I went just on Christmas Eve to sing carols. So instead, what we do have, a lot of the old people who used to be churchgoers, I mean, I used to be a churchgoer, but I'm not really bothered about going to church now. And a lot of the old people, we have a program called Songs of Praise, which a lot of people like to watch. It's on a Sunday evening, and it's not focused on any particular religion. They go to a church, people are singing in the church and singing the hymns, and they put the subtitles of the songs for the hymns that the people sing, so you can sing along to it. But it's no particular denomination, and we're not particularly bothered, to be honest. I was brought up as Church of England. My father was Roman Catholic. He renounced the church because the Catholic priest threatened my mother because she wanted us to go to a Church of England school, and I got my children baptised in a Methodist church just because it was up the road from me, and my children don't want any of their kids to be baptised because they feel that it's not, they don't want to push religion on their children. They don't believe, they're non-believers themselves, and they don't want to push it on their children. But anyway, I think I should probably cut that out as well. Anyway, God rest ye merry gentlemen, that was. I remember that song, it was lovely. I used to like to sing carols once upon a time. I still do, but we don't get as much opportunity since churches are on the decline. So, I'll just sing to myself when the music comes. I tend to join in when they're playing music on the radio, that's when. So anyway, that's that one. Now then, let's have a look at this one, which is number... Let's get you down there. Now, I keep covering up the microphone when I hold this. So where is the microphone? I don't know where the microphone is. I'll have to keep my hands off it as much as possible. We're looking for number 7. Number 7. What's that? 13? 7. Oh, 7 is a fox. So I'm guessing that this fox is an outside fox and not an inside one. So where's the picture? Let's see where the fox is. Well, he's not on the front and he's not on the side, so he must be either around there or around the back. So I'm going to have to look for number 7, and I'll show you where it goes. If you hear a whirring noise, it is the fan heater down here to keep me warm. But I've just had to turn it off because it's getting too hot. And so let's go to the answer of the Christmas Thief. The hotel detective held the young man in a firm grip. "Goodness, you'll break the poor man's arm if you aren't careful," Lady Dupont called sharply. "There must be some mistake. I refuse to believe such a charming young man should have anything untoward in mind." "The whole concept of the gentleman thief is that no one believes they could do any wrong, ma'am," Holmes explained. "Surely that's not the only reason you asked me to detain this man, sir?" the hotel detective asked. "Of course not," Holmes answered. "Lady Dupont, I am sure you enjoyed the fact that this young man only had eyes for you, but how could he know it was your suite and not Watson's or mine?" "I'm sure he addressed me first as a matter of courtesy, seeing as I was the only lady present," the lady replied, and smiled at the young man. "Possibly," Holmes said, "but if he believed he was entering his own rooms, why knock?" Lady Dupont couldn't answer that. "Touché," said the hotel detective. "He didn't want to look like an obvious intruder in case someone was in the room." Inspector Lestrade came running down the hall. "Scotland Yard has solved it," he said, sounding somewhat out of breath. "This rogue specialises in older women. He makes a note of their room numbers when they check in." "Older woman indeed! Mind your tongue," Lady Dupont said, clearly sounding offended. "Why don't we return to your rooms to enjoy some more tea and scones?" I suggested quickly as the young man was led away. So basically, I thought that when people knock at the door and they say, "Oh, sorry, you got the wrong room," you kind of think, "Were they looking for something? Is it really, are they on the lookout for an empty room where they can break in and steal things?" So yes, that was the Christmas Thief. And tomorrow's will be No Ophelia. Whatever No Ophelia is, we shall find out tomorrow. So, I want to tell you, I watch a few vlogs of people who are not sewers. And there's one in particular that some of you may already know, but I just thought I've got to recommend her to you because I think she's really good. It's a lady who's a single woman and she lives in London and she works for BBC Radio London. And she's called Jo Good. And she calls herself the Middle-Aged Minx. She's 67 or 68 and she basically works, as I say, she's a presenter on the radio station on Radio London. She lives in Marylebone and she loves taking you around London. And at the moment she's excelling in the fact that it's Christmas and she's going around showing you the lights and everything. And she has such a happy character. Jo Good, in one of her episodes, if you start following her and you go right back, she actually will tell you that she used to be in Crossroads, which was a soap years and years ago. And she used to be in Crossroads. And she actually plays a little bit to show you the part that she plays. It was a small part. And when I saw it, I remembered her, this Jo Good, being on. And, but she, as I say, she works for BBC Radio London, but at the time they've changed her hours and she has to work at 1 in the morning, from 1 till about 5. I'm not sure. We don't listen to Radio London, but she's basically her job is through the night, and so on the evening she'll take you places, she'll show you places, she'll meet people. She is a slight influencer, but when I first started watching her, which was last year, she had 10,000 followers. She's now on 57,000 followers because she is really doing a great job. People stop her in the street and say hello to her and she's not afraid to stop and talk to them back. She's very, very friendly, very homely. And she used to have an old English bulldog which sadly died, I think about a year ago. And what was she called? Matilda? But she had this bulldog which died, and she was so upset about it, she went and got another one. She's got this little puppy one, and she's equally as nice. And you would, if you want to watch it, I know she can be a bit slow talking sometimes, but I'm sure you will enjoy it. If you don't know about her, do watch her. She's really good. I'll put the link below. and she's called Middle-Aged Minx, and she's a really good watch. She actually wears a lot of designer clothes, and she pushes designer clothes, but well, she wears a lot of designer clothes, but she'll admit that when she gets a good garment, she keeps it for a long time. But she does wear nice things, and this is why one of the shoes, she wears a pair of Clergerie shoes, which are very expensive. She says, I love my Clergerie shoes. And Clergerie shoes are French ones, they're from Paris. And I went to have a look at them, and yeah, they were about £490. Well, there's no way I could afford that. But she made me remember that I used to wear brogues all those years ago. So I got myself a pair of brogue shoes, and I'll show you my brogue shoes. The ones that she had were black and white, and they're really heavy ones. So I got these, and these are they from Next? No, River Island. I got them online, River Island, wide feet. I have wide feet, and they only cost me £37. They're not leather, but I figured that they're just as nice, and I'll get a fair bit of wear out of them. And I bought them about a month ago, but they're rather nice. I thought they were quite flattering. So and I figured they'd be quite nice to wear with a skirt or with a dress for the winter, with black tights. And because they're wide, they won't press on bunions or anything. So this is what she tempted me to get. But well, she didn't tempt me. I mean, to be fair, she just tells you about them. But she also takes you around. She took you around to some. She takes you around some of the shops around her area, and she took you to a shop where some actresses sew clothes, and they actually sell their own clothes that they sew. I can't remember what episode that was. It was a good few episodes back. But if you do get into watching it, look at some of her older ones, because there's some, good storyline. She's not married, and I think she was married, but she's now single, and she's happily single, let's say. And she every weekend she goes to visit her mother, who lives outside London. Her mother's 97, and she goes and takes her mother for a drive somewhere. I think her brother lives with her mother, but she goes to see her mother every weekend. And she calls her mother. She doesn't call her mother. She calls her a funny name, Mumty or something. Or I can't. Do you know how my memory's going? But anyway, she is well worth looking at, and I'm sure you'll enjoy watching it. If you're one of those people who are living on your own, I'm sure you'll find it quite a nice, amusing watch. So there you go. I'm going to love you, and I'm going to leave you. I'll catch you next time.